Today I'm going to show you how you can make one of these star baubles that you could hang from a Christmas tree. To make the bauble you need 6 pieces of paper. These are 7.5 by 7.5 centimetres squared. You could make it a bit larger or a bit smaller, but this size makes a good Christmas bauble type shape. You could make them use all the same colour paper, but I think the star looks quite effective if you've got 2 different colours. So I've got a gold paper and a silvery white paper. As well as that, you need some paper clips that will help you hold the star together as you're making it, a bit of glue and a couple of beads to go on the points of the star. Just makes it, sort of finishes it off quite nicely. Then you'll also need a piece of thread to hang the star from. Now, because a couple of the folds are a little bit tricky, I'm going to demonstrate creating one segment of the star with a bigger piece of paper. So first of all, you need to put your paper so that the coloured face is face down, and then fold it in half. Then open out the fold and fold it in half the other way. Then open out the piece of paper and fold each of the corners to the middle. Then with all of the corners folded in, turn your piece of paper over, reinforce those creases, so make the sides of our star as sharp as possible. And then you want to take this side of the paper here and fold it to meet the middle, making a nice sharp point down here. But before you fully make all the creases, only crease to this point here. So where this line here meets the side here, just make the creases there, and then do the same on the other side. So make a nice sharp point at the bottom and only crease to this line here. Then open that out, turn your paper round and make the same folds on this corner here. Open it out. And now you want to fold it in half along this central diagonal. Then you see the fold here, you want to reverse this fold. So this flap is just going to turn back on itself along that fold. And the same on this side. Now we want to take this bottom edge here and fold it up to meet this line here. But again, we're not going to make a crease all the way along. We're only going to make a crease on the underside of the paper. So just from this point here to the edge. And the same on the other side. Fold to meet that line there, but just make the crease where you can see the underside of the paper. So the end result should be that you've got like a little flap, a little mouth there. So if you hold that fold there with your right hand, and with your left you want to slightly open out the two front sides of paper there. So you just open them out a bit like that. Now this is the bit that's a tiny bit tricky. You want to pinch with your left hand at the same time as pushing with your right hand. So you're pinching to catch this inner flap there with your left hand, and you should end up with a shape like this. You might then need to do a little bit of work just to neaten off those points, make them as sharp as possible. But there is the first segment of your star. Notice that the segment is not truly symmetrical, so one side you should have flaps sticking out, the other side you should have flaps sticking in. And what you should notice is that there is a little pocket in here which we're going to make use of. So there's actually a little space in there on this side and then also on the other side, and that's where we're going to what we're going to use to hold our star together, and that should be on the same side as the two flaps that stick out. So here I've made six segments for the star from my two colours of paper, and the first thing we're going to look at is how to attach the loop of thread so that we can hang our star up. So we take the piece that's going to hold our thread, and here we've got one side where the flaps are open and one side where the flaps are tucked in. We want to open out temporarily the one where the flaps are tucked in, because this is where we're going to put our thread in. We need to get the two ends of our thread and apply a bit of glue to these. Plenty of glue so it will stick together nicely. And then we want to tuck those ends inside this corner here and put those flaps back in place. There we go. So that will be how we will hang the star from the Christmas tree. Now, to keep that secure, let's add the next piece of the star. So if you take a piece, if you're doing it in two colours, you'll want to use the second colour. So with the open flaps on the left hand side and the open flaps on the left hand side of this piece, you want to slide the flaps over the point of the star and tuck the paper into that pocket that we saw earlier. And we need to do that on both sides. That's right, make sure that's in securely. Make sure that the paper comes down as far as it can to the base of that point. Now, it's quite likely if you just try and leave it like that it will pop off while you're trying to attach the rest of the points. So these are where the paper clips come in, and if you use a paper clip to just hold that those two pieces of paper together, that will make life much easier. So we now move around the star, attaching our other pieces of paper. So now I'm going to want a silvery piece for the next segment. Open out the flaps, put it over the top of the point, and then tuck it into the pockets on both sides. And when I'm satisfied it's gone as far down as far as it can, I use another paper clip to attach it. So we attach the next 3 in the same way. So now I'm going to attach the final segment. What you'll notice is it's quite difficult to make that final connection, and that's because the paper clips are holding the star flat. So now we need to actually remove the paper clips so that the star can fill out to its 3D shape, and then these final 2 segments will come together. So we just need to make those final connections. Get the flaps into the pocket. A little bit fiddly. And there we have our star all connected. Now you'll notice that at the points there it may look a bit scruffy, and you may end up with slightly bigger holes than I've got there. But don't worry, because the glue can cover a multitude of sins. So what you need is something on which you can perch your star. For example, I've got a cardboard roll here. And then we need to put a bit of glue on the point. Now if your hole is a bit big, you might have to use plenty of glue to sort of help join together those points there. This hole's not too bad. And then you get one of your beads and pop it on the top there. And then when that's dry, obviously you can then turn it over and pop a bead on the other side. And you should end up with a star like this, which you can then hang from your Christmas tree. Thank you.